Jaden, you gotta hit the weights a little bit more than that, buddy.
Are you dumb, bro? I just broke my arm, and I still got that definition.
Oh, my bad.
Now you can
He's
tell.
gonna break his elbow again. He's gonna break his elbow again with this flex. Okay.
No, it hurt. This arm hurts to flex. Anyways, welcome back, guys, to the A2J podcast with your hosts Aaron, Jason, and Jaden. Today we're talking about NBA trade grades. Not grades, sorry. Trade like deadline day reactions. Who we think won trades, who we think lost trades. All that smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord. Do you even know what that means?
It's like a bunch of things. It's like a bunch of things combined into one.
That's
AKA
Not quite the
smorgasbord.
right context, but you were close.
That's
so
like
we'll go with it.
That's how I picture what your brain is. Just a random assortment of nonsense at all.
That's positive connotations, but yeah.
Alright, so we've handpicked a few trades that we thought would be worthy to talk about. I mean, there's a ton of shit going on today, and you know, as Raptors fans, we were very in tune to what was going down. But
Stressed is the right word. Stressed.
you know, Lowry's still here, so I guess at the end of the day we all can let out a nice sigh of relief. But to begin it off, Oladipo to Miami for Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk. Jaden, what do you think? You think that's a good trade for Miami?
Miami winners, Houston losers. Basically, at this point, they're basically giving away everything they got from the James Harden trade. Miami needed that little piece. I think Oladipo with Hero, Dragic, and Butler, it's gonna create a nice dynamic. Whether they have him coming off the bench or whether they have him in the starting lineup, it's gonna be interesting. I really like it.
Yeah, honestly, I like it for Miami. Great pick. They make some. They were obviously in the finals last year, and they needed some kind of boost. A lot of their stars had a lot of injury problems this year. I mean, so have a lot of teams, but I think this gives them that extra scoring option, especially to kind of lighten the load on Tyler Hero. You know, he's still young. He's still growing into his position, his role. So, like, I mean, I personally like Oladipo, so as long as he can get over all of his injury humps and can stay healthy for the rest of the season, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Very, very, very easy trade to get rid of Avery Bradley for this.
Yeah, totally agree. And like, as good as Tyler Hero is, it's nice to have someone with a little bit more experience under their belt to, you know, show him the way. So
yeah, I agree. That's an
Good
easy win for Miami and a big loss for Houston because they effectively turned James Harden into, I don't know, I'm sure Jane can know exactly what they turned him into. But
Avery Bradley. They turned him into Avery Bradley. One guy and two guys nobody in the comments actually will know. Avery Bradley, that's a big stretch if people know him or not.
I mean, they were getting offers of Ben Simmons and stuff like that, and they turned it into this, and that tells you everything you need to know.
yeah, well, you know what? That just means that we were right. They're in a pretty big rebuild at this point. So
There was
I guess
talks
that's
that
Yeah, but
they could have gotten Siakam for him too.
I know they rebuild it, but they left the bricks at home. Like, I don't know what they're doing. The next one, I think we're all happy that this trade didn't involve the Raptors in any sense or shape, but Lou Will to Atlanta for Rondo and 2 picks.
that's a big one. That's a really big one, and it shows how much these NBA teams value leadership traits or the traits that Rondo brings to the table. But what do you think, Jaden?
Rondo's a good vet, man. Last year for the Lakers,
Don't try to
originally
explain
they
this
thought
away.
about-
This is a bad trade. 2 picks? This guy wasn't even playing for Atlanta basically this year. Like, I
Okay,
love
well,
Rondo.
let's
Can I
let's-
finish? Can I finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, finish. Let's hear what you gotta say.
Bro. Anyways, like I said, last year, Rondo was a big part of Lakers' run, just because of his leadership and he's a vet. And honestly, you're getting a better point guard than Pat Bev. Like, I'd rather give up 2 picks because Clippers at this point, they're all or nothing. If you can't win with Paul George, Kawhi, who else did they get this summer? Nicholas Batum and Rondo, bro, you're doing something wrong.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm taking Jaden's side here. Rajon Rondo brought somebody to the table for the Lakers last year. He really did.
He's a strong leader, bro.
Yeah, really great leader, and he gets to the basket at will as well, right? He gets to the basket at will. He's a good player, solid leadership, so much experience, and that's honestly what the Clippers need. They don't need any more big, giant talent, right?
And
They need someone who's like going to be a dog, who's going to go for the rim, someone who's going to bring a little bit of extra, and a little bit of experience to the table. So
he's
I
top
think it's a
6
good trade.
point. He's top 6 point guard in terms of basketball IQ too. So keeping the ball in his hands and like letting letting him set up Paul George and Kawhi, it's gonna turn into something cool.
But to Aaron's point, that's a pretty big price for him.
My point
Pretty
isn't
big
that
price.
Rondo's not a good player and he's not a good pickup. All I'm saying is they way overpaid. I feel like they could have easily gotten away with at least taken back one of those picks. Like a player
Yeah,
of
Lou Will's
Lou Will's
feelings-
caliber and 2 picks just sounds like they got absolutely fleeced.
Yeah, Mr. Six-Man Lou Will, his feelings got to be hurt after that trade. But anyhow.
And apparently Rondo still guaranteed his salary, his $8 million salary for next season. So it's like
15. I just looked it up.
I think it's half this season, half is guaranteed next season. I think it's that. Because they got to
Okay.
pay him out for this season, then they got to pay the 8.
Because I just looked that up quickly. I thought it might be a 1-year deal, and that might be a little bit shaky, but it's a 2-year deal. So
No, but that doesn't make it better because Rondo at next year is not guaranteed to be the same guy at 36. He was already waning last year.
listen.
Because
Listen.
think about this. Kawhi isn't LeBron.
Okay, but would you rather have Pat Beverly starting at the point guard, or would you rather have Rondo starting at point guard?
I don't think Rondo's going to start, though, is he? You think he's going to get
Yeah.
all
I,
starting
I would
minutes?
put him.
Probably
I put him.
Okay,
I put him over.
Let me
Patrick Bev.
put it this way: is Rondo going to be healthy to start number 1? And now they lost a player who last year at any given moment can drop 30 points for them.
Yo, to be honest, I don't
Yeah,
even know if Rondo's fit right now. So
I would have
Let's just move on to the next trade.
tried to get rid of Pat Bev.
I think it's 2-1. Actually, you know what? Pat Bev might have been a better trade. I think
Yeah,
Pat Bev wasn't. Pat
No, they
Bev
needed
wasn't. He's got that dog in him, but nobody likes him. I think he was involved. If they traded for Lonzo, I think Pelicans wanted Pat Bev.
We got to be
But
careful though, because Pat Bev
who knows?
hates people talking shit about him, and he might watch this and then like subtweet us all, and then you never know.
Yo,
Anyways, guys,
Pat Bev, pull up, bro.
Yeah,
we're dwelling on this trade for a while. Let's just say, who do we think won it? Jaden.
I still think Clippers won it because you're basically trading away your asset. You're basically trading away the assets to get a leader and a point guard with proper IQ. I know Lou Williams can drop them 30. I know Lou Will can drop them 30 on a given night, but Rondo's like a proven playoff talent. He's won
All right.
2 rings. If Clippers want to try to get a ring, Rondo's the better
get it.
person to take him to a ring.
All right, Aaron, what about you, man? What's your take?
Atlanta were never winning anything this year, so they gave effectively nothing and got 2 picks, so they easily won. But I could see why the Clippers wanted to do it. But Atlanta hands down won the trade.
I'm 50-50 on that one.
They're second round picks though, so it's
Yeah, but there's
Still,
there's
2
only
picks.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Anyhow.
for me, I'm pretty much 50-50 on it. I think we're gonna have to wait and see what Rondo does at Los Angeles. But yeah,
I mean, if they win at the end of the year, then clearly they won the trade.
all right. What's the next one we got?
Next one is our homeboy, our high flyer himself, Norman Powell. He got traded for Rodney Hood, who I don't know if you guys watched his last stint with LeBron in Cleveland. Absolute garbage. And Gary Trent.
Rodney Hood is terrible.
Yeah, and Gary Trent Jr., who is a very good young defensive piece. I think that's a good trade for us, especially because Norman Powell was coming off a great season. He's going to expect a big payday that I don't think Raptors really wanted to pay him. So I think it's a great trade, and it was kind of one that we had to do with the sad season we've been having. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, it's sad to see him go. Like, obviously love the guy, great player to watch, and brings so much energy to the game. But if we were going to get rid of him, now's the best time to do so. And I think we got good stuff in return. Yeah, like you said, young player who can shoot the 3, who can defend as well. Can't really say no to that, right? Also, we're getting getting a bigger player and a younger player out of that. I'm not even talking about Rodney. He doesn't even count in this conversation. But yeah, like I said, sad to see him go, but I'm totally okay with this trade, and hopefully it'll end up being the right thing.
I think Raptors are gonna have to like seriously look at themselves and say, okay, we can't contend for anything. Playoffs at this point, I mean, they just were on a 9-game losing streak. If they continue being that bad, they're gonna struggle making it to the 8th seed or whatever the play-in games are this season. So I wanted them to trade Kyle Lowry today. I wanted them to start stripping their assets and getting picks or whatever. But this is a decent trade. I really like Gary Trent Jr. Did you know all 3 Garys in the NBA were traded today?
Yeah, I saw that.
Everybody with the
saw
name,
that.
everybody with the name Gary was traded. But I really like
That's
this.
hilarious.
I think Norman Powell's like 6'4". A 3
like
at
that, yeah.
He
a 3 at
He jumps
6'4".
like he's 7 feet, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd 100% rather Gary Trent, and Raptors need a good shooter. So
I think
Yeah, I
it's
mean-
in Masai we trust. I think we trust him and let him
Facts.
do his job. The next one I think is
Facts.
one that Denver really needed to make, especially when they lost our boy.
Sorry, did we say winners and losers for the last one?
I think it's a good trade on both sides.
I think they're both winners.
Although
North-
I would
win,
say
yeah.
Toronto win just because they were gonna lose him anyways, and they have something for the future now.
I think both winners because Norman Powell adds good
But
experience.
it's a
to
good
the-
trade both
to the
sides. I would
Blazers.
say.
Yeah, I think it was a good trade on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is our favorite player's replacement in a way, Aaron Gordon to Denver, and in return they got Gary Harris. I don't know how you guys feel about Gary Harris. I thought he was decent on the back end of I think it was last year before he kind of went on a shooting slump. But basically Aaron Gordon for Gary Harris and a first round is more or less the trade. What do you guys think?
What you're not including is RJ Hampton, which a year ago he was the best high school player in America, and he's a high flyer. So I really he went under the radar in the draft this year because LaMelo was the most popular person in the draft, and then you got Anthony Edwards and whatever. But RJ Hampton, he went the same route as LaMelo in NBL, and I really like him as a player. So I think he's gonna do something good. He'll go out. He needed a trade to just get out of Denver because they're so packed at that PG position. So it was hard for him. He was the third string PG at that point. So I think going to a team where you don't really have a settled PG, depending because number one, Markelle Fultz, he's streaky with his injuries or whatever. He's got bad luck with injuries. Number two, you can easily dethrone Cole Anthony if you find your form. So.
What do you think? Who won it though? I like it for Nuggets because they really needed to replace. But I don't know. What do you feel, Josh?
Magic. I think the Magic followed our advice and they rebuilt. They watched They watched the NBA tier list episode and they're like, all right, I think it's time to rebuild. And they
They
started.
heard our discussion where we dragged them through the mud.
They
And
saw our
they said,
tier
you know,
list.
we
and
got
they're
to
like,
appease them.
We can't do this.
So they just started getting young players.
These brown kids from Brampton are trashing us. Come on.
I like this for the Magic. I really do. Like Jaden was saying, RJ Hampton is a good player. He didn't get a lot of PT, right? He didn't get very many minutes. And Gary Harris is a decent player too, and they get a first round pick. What more could you ask for? And Aaron Gordon wanted to leave. Everyone knows that,
Yeah.
right? So
You
you don't want a player. It doesn't matter how good a player is. You don't want them on your team if they don't want to play for you, right? You'll never get their best. So this is a great move for them. I think.
Management
I think
101.
honestly, I think for their situation, they won. Obviously, it's bad to lose your best player, but I think it's a good move.
I think it's a good trade on both sides. I just want to see Aaron Gordon filling in that Jeremy Grant role at Denver and seeing how Denver can be with that third additional scorer behind, obviously Jokic and Murray. It'd be good. So what do we think? Fair trade overall?
Good on both sides.
I think Orlando gets
Magic,
the edge for me.
Orlando?
Hmm?
What do you think, Jaden?
Magic gets younger. Denver gets another piece that they need. Good on both sides.
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
think
I'm good with splitting.
I think in my opinion, all the deals made by Orlando today, I think they were both good for both teams.
They got decent value for what they were trying to do in their rebuilding, so can't really blame them. And that goes to their next trade. They got rid of Vucevic, sent him off to Chicago. And you know what?
I really like that.
Go ahead.
I like that for Chicago. Vucevic is much better than Wendell Carter Jr., who got traded for him. Yeah, he's going to be a good addition for Levine, especially as they're trying to get a deep-ish run into the playoffs this season. I don't know what seed they are. Does anybody know what seed they are?
I could check it up at the moment. But that's close to what we were saying last time, that Zach LaVine needed help, and if he didn't get it, he was gone. So they did something for him, which is something you always want to see as a player. You want to see your team helping you out.
And
The
Orlando
got
got
10th. They're not doing too great right now.
They're
2
games back, though, so this could be the push that they need, because Vucevic has been playing like an all-star all season long. And you know what? They could easily vie for that, because they're only a few games back from all the way up
remember
to
they only
sixth.
need the 9th seed. Remember that.
right, for the
You-
playing game.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put it in a different perspective. From 4th to 10th, there's only about three and a half games difference. So
Yeah.
So
there's a
so
lot of
still-
playoff
there's
spots
still-
available.
Yeah. I also like Wendell Carter Jr. I think this is proper for him because he's been really underperforming this season. He played decent last season, but he needs to get out of that, big market.
Is that the guy with the funny mustache? Or am
I
I
don't know.
thinking of
It's number
somebody else?
34 on the Bulls.
This guy
It's
said
number
the funny
34 on the
mustache.
Bulls.
Let me,
I don't know if you.
let me search up this guy's face.
He's like a really short. He's like a shorter center, but I think he just needed to get out of that big market and go to somewhere like Orlando.
He is the
which
guy with
more
the funny
low-key.
mustache. Now that you say it, yeah.
Yep.
And Orlando gets 2 first-round picks, so they're trying to be the OKC of the East and just have an entire draft class for them 1 year.
You know what? It's the best move for them. It's when you're doing that badly, that's the move. Start over and reinvent yourself. And we called it.
It's
So they listen.
better to reinvent than say if Vucevic just kept playing with them, they didn't get anything from him, and then they're just a trash team throughout that whole time. Sometimes you gotta just know when to fold your cards and restart.
All I know
What do
is
you guys think
if
won it?
I would have to say Chicago because they need
Chicago won it. Chicago got better pieces for right now.
But it's tough.
Magic's pieces are dependent on the future. They're dependent on the future. Like, you can say this. You can say in the future, both Magic and OKC could get. If Magic continue this run, OKC already has an entire draft class. But if Magic continue trying to just get picks like OKC did, and it looks like they're following that model, they're gonna be a decent team in the future.
I think if I had to pick, it would be Chicago just because of the name of Vucevic and how he's been playing. But both teams needed to make a trade, and it kind of works for both teams. So I'd be happy to split it.
I'm gonna go again. I think my bias is showing, but I'm gonna go for Magic winning this one. Just because I think, of course, Vucevic is a massive, massive name. But like considering where the Bulls are right now, like maybe he can help them get into the playoffs and stuff. But I don't know if he'll be enough to make them do a deep run.
That's
But
true.
it's to be seen. I do like the 2 first-round picks for the Magic is like that they absolutely needed it, which is why I think they did the right thing with both of their trades. So I'll give it to the Magic again. I was happy with the deals that they've made.
I think
today.
other than Houston, whenever you get rid of a good player and you know you're not going to vie for the playoffs afterwards, as long as you get good picks, you're kind of good. Only Houston's really messed that up gravely.
Houston didn't get any picks. I don't know where. I think Houston may have traded away their picks.
Yeah, don't even start with me, Houston. All right, that goes to our last trade that really affected us and kind of affected that jersey behind Jason right there. Kyle Lowry didn't go to Philly because they didn't like the trade. Although that Matisse trade that they were talking about, I thought would have been a decent trade if we got it. But obviously Philly didn't want to give up that much for a 35-year-old, and you know what? Understandable. He doesn't get the same praise he should outside of Canada. But George Hill to Philly fills their point guard needs. No disrespect to Ben Simmons, but it fills that need. And I thought it was a good trade for them. I thought that was something that they needed to push them over the edge if they really want to win the East.
In that trade, it affected so many teams a lot. It affected New Orleans, it affected Toronto, it affected Lakers because 76ers were the front runners for Kyle Lowry, and I think later on they also became kind of front runners for Lonzo.
I wish they got Lonzo because I wanted Lonzo to be in like a playoff team, but that's.
But the problem is, I don't think Lonzo would fit that well there because of how Ben Simmons distributes the ball. So I don't think he would have fit that well. Kyle Lowry would have been a good playoff experience guy because Philly's always streaking the playoffs, so he would have been a good guy to have there. And he's just like that tough dog that's willing to do whatever you want for the team. Ben Simmons is kind of like a diva, so. But
we hate on Ben Simmons so much, man. I feel bad.
But
You know why? It's because his potential is so big, and he just hasn't been hitting it. Like, he's a great player, but
he's not our style of player.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also true. I mean, if you can't shoot the ball, get out of here. Get out of my face.
Not even that. Just like you said, like the dogging it out, play hard kind of player. I think is what we tend to.
All right, so since this
enjoy
is
a
hard
lot
to
more.
kind of judge, we'll just go. Do you think that Philly made the right choice going with George Hill over Kyle Lowry? We'll say it like that.
I was gonna say Philly won the trade because they got the point guard that they wanted. And I was gonna say because it was a 3-team trade. I think because Thunder won that trade because they got more picks.
Yeah, but
They got two more.
let's ignore the
They got
trade.
2 more picks.
Let's ignore the trade because Thunder's obviously has the best GM, best fucking thing ever right now. Just in terms of Philly, because basically what they were going was Kyle Lowry or George Hills or Grant. Yeah, George Hill. So what do you think?
I think they got they didn't get a player as good as Kyle Lowry, but they got a decent player. George Hill shoots shoots 3 kind of well.
He's not bad. He's not bad. I think he's like 30 high 30%.
It's better than Ben Simmons. So
Yeah, why you gotta do Ben like that? We've been roasting him.
but realistically, Philly. Who are Philly's main 3-point shooters other than Seth Curry? And
Seth Curry's been injured all freaking season, man.
is what's his name? Is Green still kicking it?
Did Danny Green? Danny Green didn't get traded, right?
No, he didn't get traded, but is he still alive? I haven't heard from Danny Green since he missed that shot in the playoffs.
I mean, I think he's still in Vancouver, to be honest.
He definitely has. He definitely has garnered a bit of a negative reputation for himself
Take in.
after the last few seasons.
Yeah, but take in, he's been such a phenomenal 3-point shooter for like almost more than a decade, and we after like a season and a half, we just roast the hell out of him.
It's because he missed the clutch shots that he needed
I
to
get
make.
it, but it's kind of sad, right? Like
It tells you how
Anyways.
careers are like made or broken in like a split second or like 1 or 2 moments. Pretty
Anyways,
crazy.
good pickup by the 76ers. OKC got their picks.
Yeah, totally agreed. I think Lowry would have been better, but they were unable to
Lowry
do it, so.
Lowry's definitely a better player, but George Hill, good shooter.
Lowry's what they needed. Lowry is what they needed to win the Eastern Conference. But
yeah, that would have been a difference maker, not even just on the court, but like in the locker room. I agree. But that sums up most of our trade deadline talk. I mean, I know we didn't cover all the trades, and there's still a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the background, like Andre Drummond might be released and picked up, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
We didn't want to talk about like bums that were traded. So
ouch.
Jane
Oh.
wants a 1v1 everyone in the league, so if you're a
Oh,
retired NBA
also-
player, come on.
also Evan Fournier got traded from Orlando for picks. I'm pretty sure.
That's not a bad pickup. That's not a bad pickup.
Good pickup by Bucks and was it Bucks?
Boston.
No, Celtics.
Boston.
Celtics. Yeah, I was because I was looking at the PJ Tucker trade on my screen and I was like, I got confused. Anyways, good pickup by Boston. Orlando got some picks.
I mean,
Good day by Orlando.
I don't know where Evan Fournier is gonna fit in with the team. Like they already have the guards and everything, but I guess he'll come off the bench and maybe do some damage.
Did you see his tweet?
Is that real? I saw the tweet. Was it real?
What did he say?
Yeah, it was very real. Do not look it up.
Oh my
Anyways,
god. Okay. Jaden will plug the tweet somewhere on the screen, but please
No.
do not search
Do not look
it
it up. No.
Okay,
No.
don't search
No.
his
Do
tweet.
you hear my
No.
All right, everyone at home, listen to me very carefully. If you're gonna search it up, please be in a dark room, incognito, and don't let anyone ever know that you searched this up.
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I didn't know what it meant.
Are you sure he really?
I
did
now know what it
this?
means. Yes, bro. I saw the tweet myself.
All right, whatever.
I checked.
Whatever.
I checked
That-
because I was
that-
like, what? Because I didn't know what it meant. Because I was like, what does he mean?
All right, Jane, you
Google
know what?
his
I think
name.
you
Or,
searched
like,
up before that, but whatever. That concludes
Nah.
our trade deadline talk. Thank you for joining us. This has been from A2J podcast and from us to you. See you next time.
Peace.
Ooh, jinx.
I told you, bro.